This bike has caused quite the stir. It's the first fully Chinese branded bike to make it into World Tour in 2025. I'm with Astana. They're going to be known as XDS-Astana team in 2025, and their bikes are from a fully Chinese brand. I'm going to be looking through this bike in this video, their Aero version, and I've also got my hands on their climbing model. So stay tuned, I'm running through the details. Okay, let's get into it, because it is really cool to see this bike in the flesh and up close and personal, because I've heard a lot about it. There's been a lot of talk about this bike and the fact that Astana will be using it in 2025. This is the Aero model from X Labs, and that's coming from a brand called XDS Carbon Tech. It comes from China, and they are a big sponsor of Astana next year. I've been talking with the technical director, actually, responsible for helping, bring these bikes to the fore, get them on team and get them ready for what's to come as in terms of World Tour demands. Really interesting talking to him, actually. So apparently there's 5 factories that produce these bikes, 3 million bikes produced last year alone, which is pretty staggering. 3 factories in China, apparently, 1 in Cambodia and 1 in Vietnam. The rumour is that over half the brands in the pro peloton are made by XDS Carbon Tech, which is pretty staggering. But anyway, I'm here to talk about this bike in particular. So this model is called the AD9. It's obviously the Aero bike, which Astana will be using for the season ahead. I was speaking to their technical director. They said this is kind of been designed to cope with the majority of what World Tour races will throw at a rider. So obviously super aerodynamic, but also not massively stiff. It's got enough so it can kind of give that compliance and still be comfortable depending on what races the team is taking on. There is a climbing bike that the riders have at their disposal, but speaking to the team, it seems like this is the bike that most will choose for every single race. So it's kitted out with Shimano Dura-Race, of course, 170mm cranks on the bike I'm looking at now. It's got Vision components too, so Vision wheels. This is the 60 SL set Metrons. Got the Vision handlebars 5D Evo, with that the integrated head unit mount there, makes it look super neat. Absolute cuts through the air. Prologo saddles and bar tape as well to complete the bike. X-Lab there on the down tube, black paint job there, but I love the rest of the bike, how you have this blue one-tone colour here and then this splashes of red and yellow, quite synonymous with the Astana team too. It looks beautiful. First, I'm noting on the forks, these kind of X-foil system, as they say, which reminds me a lot of a Pinarello fork, actually. I'm told the carbon used on this frame set is Toray 1100. Okay, just come to the back of the bike here now, and it's really interesting. You get a huge amount of clearance on the stays here. It's quite tight just at the back by the bottom bracket, which I think is a T47 bottom bracket. So these tyres 32mm, I'm told that 33mm should just about clear the frame, which is pretty standard. Actually, forks actually looks like there's even more clearance there. It's got that quite wide profile. The profile of the bike in general for an aero bike, it's cuts like a piece of paper. Clamping mechanism for the seat post just at the back here, so 2 screws just here. Nice line on the top tube as well, really straight, super thin. It's got that kind of nose actually at the front, that Aero nose. We've seen that on the S-Works as well. Bottom bracket is solid, really chunky bottom bracket, and you've got that kind of defined feature here just on the front bottle cage. Nice. Right then, I'm going to do a freehub test. So very careful with this bike because this isn't a rider-specific bike. This is the first one I've managed to get my hands on, and it needs to be kept in pristine condition. You've also got the logo, actually, forgot to mention there, X Labs logo on the head tube. Weight, I'm told, is around 7.4 kilos. And I'm gonna have to apologise because I forgot my scales. But going off the old feel test, feels super light. Let's do a freehub test though. Gotta say, that part of the frame, that is tiny. Right, here we go. Oh yeah. Gotta say, it's a nice looking bike. Now though, let's have a look at the climbing bike, which Astana will be using too. Right then, so this is the climbing bike that the Astana riders will have at their disposal next year. So this is called the RT9. Similar paint job, actually, to the Aero bike. Again, I love the black on the down tube and the forks and the white lettering of XLab over the top of that. But yet you still have the typical colours for the Astana team kind of splashed down there on the top tube. I think my overall thoughts on this bike compared to the Aero one is this is just a really classical bike. It's a classic climbing bike. I really like it. I like the cylindrical tubing. It's got classic features like threaded bottom bracket. It's got your classic seat collar as well. I'm told the weight of this bike is 6.9 kilos, so 100 grams off the weight limit, but still pretty light. And I was speaking to the mechanics, they're pretty confident they can get it up to 6.8. Bang on. As before, this isn't anyone's specific bike. I'm just getting a first glimpse of the bike in general, so no specific features on either bike actually to discuss in terms of tweaks that individual riders will make, but I'm told they'll have a choice of any vision bars they want, so this won't necessarily be the bars that everyone uses across the team, but these ones from Vision are super stiff. If you're a sprinter, you want that. You do want that snappiness for any rider actually, just accelerating in the bunch, so I wouldn't be surprised if I see a majority of riders going for this. Coming back to the bike itself though, in that weight, so it's 500 grams difference to the Aero bike. It's a considerable amount if you've got a really mountainous stage coming up and you have this option there. You think about going for it, but at the same time, that Aero bike is still pretty light, and we all know the benefits of riding an Aero bike over the whole course of a 200k stage, for example. It's a lot less carbon on this one, that's how they've got the weight down. So that bottom bracket area, it's not as thick and chunky as on the Aero bike. Still got that threaded BB though. Again though, similar components, Shimano Prologo saddle and tape. Also tyres on the Vision wheels, so Continental. I'm told they're not a sponsor of the team, but this is what the team have decided to opt for. Feel like it works best for them, which is interesting. But yeah, there you go. XLab RT9. First little glimpse. It's pretty banging to me. Right then, there you go, the XLab bikes that Astana will be using next year in the World Tour. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below and what you think of the bikes. I think they're pretty cool, and it's really cool to see a Chinese brand in the World Tour, fully Chinese, for the first time in cycling history at the Tour de France too. There you go. What do you reckon? Let us know. And before I go, I'm going to do a freehub test on this one. I'll leave you on that note. Thanks for watching, everyone.